So I just thought I would share with you some of the things that I do every day to feed the family with bread, especially here during Corona. So we do Danish rye bread, some rolls and some other things. But today I'm going to show you how to make rye bread. And for that I am using a mixer. You can do it by hand, but in general I think you get something way better when you do it with a mixer. And yeah, well, let's just go into it. Everything I tell you right here is in grams. I hope you can live with that. I know you have other things, but I'm gonna use grams on kilograms at least. So I've taken 220 grams of these. I don't even know how to say them properly, but I think it's called kernels or something like that. And then I put that in this bowl and measured it. I think this is a great tool to measure whatever you have. I take boiling water, 200 grams, and put it in and just let it cool down to a normal living room temperature. So when I've done that, I just put it at 0, and then I put in just some normal salt. Of course, all of this is in Danish, and I take 30 grams. I always do the salt first, because if I do a mistake here, because if you lose a lot of salt, you're gonna ruin the bread and it's gonna taste no good. The next thing I will do is take water, and there I'm gonna take 800 grams of water. I'll just put that in here, and for that I'll just use cold water just to cool it down a little bit. And here we got it. Okay, I did 820, you can probably live with that, but... And that was a bit below. Okay, let's see. Yeah, 804, so roundabout. Now, the next thing I will do is I have made this thing. I'm gonna write what it's called. See if you can get this by a neighbor or somebody else you can make it on your own. And it's pretty much just water and some of this kernel flour that I use. And it's instead of yeast that I use this. And here you need to have 400 grams of that. I'm actually making a double portion because my kids eat a lot of it for school. And you don't have to be that precise here. If it's more than that, then it might just lift the bread a little bit more. So I actually did 440. Next and last bit that I'm missing here is getting some of this rye flour. And there we're gonna land about 880 grams in total. You can use all of this if you want, but I think the bread gets a bit lighter if you just use some normal, just plain flour. So I take at about 500 grams of rye flour. And just to show you what it looks like, if you cannot find it in your country, this is what it looks like. that was about 240, that's not enough. Yeah, that's about 500. It was 520 here. See, that was a bit too much. If you put too much in here, then you might get some problems with the dough being a little bit too dry. So now it looks like this, and we're gonna put it into the mixer. So what you can do is, if some of the flour doesn't get all the way out, you can help it a little bit. So here out in the corners, I'm just gonna do like this, just to get all of it in. Let's see if you can see it properly. Next thing we need is a form. I have 2 of these because I'm making a double portion. I bought these in Copenhagen in a very nice shop called, well, it's spelled K-O-K, Kok, which in Danish means chef. So these forms I think work really well because the bread, when it comes out, it doesn't stick. I don't have to wash it with anything afterwards. I just clean the surface and it works great. One of these I got from my brother-in-law, who has a homepage where he makes bread as well, which he gave me for free. So you try to even it out so that it's half-half. I don't always do it perfect, but the kids eat it anyways. You can also choose to put things on top of it if you want. I'm not going to do that today, since I don't have any laying around, but if there's something you like to put on, sunflowers or, well, something else. And as a general rule, I always clean these with cold water just right when they're done, because if you don't do it straight away, then it gets stuck. It's just a little trick to do it with cold water, and I normally do it with the hands because else the wife gets a bit annoyed if this little brush gets filled with flour or, you know, any kind of stuff. So I just let cold water running. You can see that in the background, and then I just put a little bit of water on this thing, and then I just move it. And by putting cold water on, it doesn't stick that much to it. Gets burned anyway, so there's no bacteria, and I have washed my fingers. So now it's ready. So what we need now is just to have something laying over. I normally use this, and just to make sure it doesn't get it doesn't get stuck, I put this on. If you have something similar. And we are at about the afternoon time now, so tonight I will turn on again, and then we can see what they look like when we get closer. So we'll just let it stand like this for 6 hours and see how it goes. So while it waits, we can actually just get more of this ready. I normally put it in the fridge. What I do here is I take, take some of the rye flour. I put, well, you can, as long as you don't go above 120, so that it gets time to grow, then I think it works fine. You can do about 60, but I do 120 as it's the double portion that I do. And it's important to keep this one alive because that's what lifts the bread. I have actually not used it for a while, since my oldest son is off somewhere on holiday. And then you do the same amount of water. So we did 120, now we do 240, which is round about what we want there. And this you can have standing just on the kitchen table because the temperature here is better than on the fridge, so that you can just get it going a little bit before you put it in. I would say you can have it standing in the, and some might not agree, but a week or so in the fridge. I think I've had it for 1.5 weeks, so it's not lifting as much as it normally does. But a lot of people have one of these standing around, and then you might just be lucky to get a little bit. I got this from my sister in Copenhagen, and I've kept it alive since. I just put a lid on it and just landed it. Whoa, this is Tupperware. No commercial here. So now we waited for about 6-7 hours, and I'm gonna go get the bread. But it's been rising for a little bit, hopefully a lot. Actually not a lot. Then we're gonna put this in. This is almost dead. It's very important to keep this alive. It's gonna be very small bread this time. And then we will take it into the oven. And I'm putting it in on 170 degrees. And then I will leave it in there for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. We'll see how it all turns out in the end. I'm honestly not that impressed with this. I think I'm gonna leave it for the morning perhaps. Let's see how much bread we have. No, that's not enough. It's gonna be flat bread. So I guess every time on the channel you want to show the most perfect stuff, but this is not going to be the perfect stuff. But it's definitely going to be something you can eat. So 1 hour and 20. So now it's been in the oven for 1 hour and 20 minutes, perhaps a few minutes more. These bread have not ended up perfect, but they will do for now. See, that's how it is. When you do things, you might make a few mistakes. So if you turn them around, they're going to look like this. You can see here, they're not perfect, but the taste will be all right. And now they cool down, and then you have some Danish bread that will keep you healthy. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you soon.